Okay, okay. I'm gonna test my audio. Hello, hello. Checking, checking, check. Checkada, checkada, checkaroo. Hello. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Let me listen to this, huh? Okay, okay. Okay, I'm gonna listen. Okay, I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's good. And I'm going public. And yeah. Okay. Woo! Yeah. Uh, I don't know if anyone's even gonna know this, but yeah, I'm still figuring this stuff out. So I just started messing with OBS audio settings, and I checked the video tutorial about how to set up certain things, get my mic to sound about right, bass boosting a little bit to make up for the fact that this is a cheap mic, and a couple of other things. And I'm like, as an engineer, I feel like a little bit embarrassed that I had to look up a guide, but at the same time, I feel a little bit validated also. It's like, oh yeah, 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 that was a good idea. Because it's like one of the first things I saw was like, okay, use a compressor so that your noise level, your sound levels, even out near the top. And I was like, I feel a little embarrassed I hadn't thought about it in the first place. It's like, oh yeah, a compressor could do that. But at the same time, it's like, two, so like the way the compressor was set up, even, I didn't really understand the terminology used here, especially because I don't really know about compressors in audio much. But it's like, but when I was setting it up, it's like, yeah, 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 this makes sense. And I'm like, because in my head, I know what a compressor is. I think of compressor like in terms of like, because a compressor messes with things, the amplitude of signal waves. Like I think of the compressor that we use for like, so we can pass signals either through wires or through airspace when we pass them via antenna. So I'm like, yeah, I know what the compressor does there. But like, oh yeah, duh, you could technically compress audio waves so that like sound of different amplitudes can map to a different set of amplitudes when you capture it. I'm like, oh yeah, duh, of course. Yeah, okay, I totally get this. So yeah, so I've been messing with my audio a good bit, and I hope it sounds better now. I don't know. I'll have to go check the records, I guess. And I'm not good at, you know, I don't like checking my own archives. It's one of those, like you feel like your voice sucks and stuff. And like I'm very self-conscious about how I don't like my voice and stuff. I don't think it's a great voice, but whatever, right? We work with what we work with. So I'm hoping like by bass boosting this thing, I was making sure that I was basically boosting everything except for the frequencies that were slightly above my pitch frequency. Yeah, at some point maybe I'd like to be able to talk about stuff I've done in speech processing, speech signal processing, and like yeah, so I'm really conscious about that. And so yeah, so I've got this thing boosted up to, yeah, everything below 200 hertz basically is boosted for to try to capture better frequencies of my voice, and then to kind of like remove a little bit, just a little bit, remove just a bit of the my pitch frequency basically, because it's a little bit too, I don't know, it's a little bit too high in my opinion. It's a little bit too weird. And messing around near those pitch frequencies kind of changes like how nasal my voice sounds. I really hope it's not very nasal anymore here, but whatever. Whatever. I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. Okay? I'll deal with it. Yeah, so we just, work with what we've given with, but I'm trying to do better and better with what I've got. So I hope that my audio comes out a little better this time around. Yeah, this is not my regular streaming account for Girls Route 9. This is actually the, like, for my first ever test video that I still have up. It's still there. This is the same account. This is my main account actually. This is the one I use on the daily. This is my real account, so to speak, right? Yeah, and I wanted to talk right away. I just had to like right away stream. Actually, that's the thing. Is like I said, okay, I had something I wanted to talk about, so I want to get on stream to do it. And then I was like, wait, but I just learned about these OBS audio settings. So for the last hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and so on, not only I was like trying to set up OBS audio settings, but I was also trying to do my dailies on this account. Because I thought earlier, I was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna stream this while I do grinding on my stream account. But I was like, as this thing went on and it was taking too long, I was like, okay, fine, I'll just do it here. It's like, I'm not going to log into my stream account today because I still gotta do dailies here. So, yeah. I don't know. You guys might find it interesting, like the dailies I do. I don't know. Probably not actually. It's not that interesting. But whatever. It was this or grinding as well, so it's like it's not that interesting either. And then someone said before, it's like, are you ever gonna show corpse dragging? And I'm like, well, I was going to do a lot of 8-1N corpse dragging on my account because I need new things to enhance anyway. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's do some 8-1N. Let me just do some other dailies first before I do that. So yeah. Anyway, right? I wanted to get on because I'm in, like, you know, social groups and stuff where we're discussing Girls from Night and stuff. And here, let me just show this for a bit, but I'll come back to it later. I just saw this post from a public group that got shared into a more private group that I'm in, right? And they were talking about this, and everyone was kind of joking, Shikikan canonically is so dense, I cannot believe it. He's like the shitty MC of a shitty story. I'm like, well, it's a really lot more than that. There's really a lot of stuff going on here. The fact that Kalina wants to stay with the commander even if he's going away from safety. Like, this part of the story in Dual Randomness is the commander choosing not to take the safest route, right? And it's like, Kalina wants to go with him. Some people say, oh yeah, okay, because Kalina's totally in it for the commander. And I'm like, no, that's not it. You're missing the point. There's a lot more going on here, and you guys are way too horny for Kalina. And I'm like, and then there's a great story about this, about how Girls Online players don't even pay attention to the story, even if I think like this is like the one gacha game that has like the best story and pretty decent storytelling, though it definitely has its weak points. And like one of the weak points is that the way that it shows its story. I think the gameplay elements around the story both help, but also really hurt the story so much that's why that most Girls Online players ended up becoming these sort of skip players, and were, you know, the people who always just hit the skip button. They don't even bother to read the fucking story, right? So I really want to talk about that, but let me just kind of get around. Oh crap! I've been showing the names of other players. Like, I guess it's fine for people to find out the commander ID I have, but like the ID of other people, it's like, no, you guys aren't gonna find that. Sorry. Anyway. So, yeah. Where was I? I was doing the dailies. Yeah, I started this as soon as I finished going through all my friends' dorms. Right? Okay, dokie. So I'm just gonna do some dailies. I did some dailies already. I did my dailies for the data thingy. The thingamajigger. This guy. I did my pulls for the day. For the most part. I'm going to go pull assault rifle because one of the last things I'm missing is that last assault rifle that was added to the new dolls list. I forgot her name. Her, and also like the new handgun that was in that new dolls list. I did get that new rifle, Titty Police Officer, the one who showed up in the collab. But yeah, I'm just gonna, okay, whatever. Yeah, so I just want to talk about the story for a good bit, and like, and that's the thing. I was going to use my playthrough of a new account to kind of walk my way through the story, partly to refresh myself on the details, but also so I could use it as a jumping off point to discuss bits of the story. Like, again, I really like the Girls from 9 story. I think it's one of the best they've done for a gacha. There are lots of themes and lots of elements, lots of world building. Of course, everybody freaking loves the world of Girls Online as much as it's like, you know, people even love like the post-apocalyptic part. Like, everyone just kind of like imagines themselves in this kind of like Stalker or Tarkov type situation or whatever, right? And it's like, as much as technically life in the Girls Online universe is shit, it sucks so much for 99% of the population. People think they're gonna be the 1% there, and it's like, really? Yeah, and it's like, duh, like all like the jokes about womb force and stuff, and then like, you know, how they envision themselves as a commander, and I'm like, guys, you're not gonna be that kind of Shikikan if you isekai'd into that world, right? You are not gonna be that guy. But yeah, yeah, but it's like, you know, it interests people a lot, and people really like it. But like, even that, I think like if you stop only there and you don't engage the more serious parts of the story, it's like you are missing a hell of a lot. There's a lot of people who miss that stuff, and that's these, like, I'm sorry to shift blame here, but that's also like a lot of people who miss stuff. They don't like the Girls Fight 9 manga because they believe it's too far away from what happens in the game story, and it's like, no, Like the manga is actually really good and tells a lot of the important bits of the Girls from Nine story that used to be like implied. Because remember, like in the first like 6, 7 or so chapters, Shikikan doesn't get to talk at all ever. You only kind of hear like there's like he says things implied, and then like the other characters respond to them, right? So it's like you have to kind of guess what Shikikan is thinking, and you kind of have to immerse yourself in the story to think about how Shikikan thinks, because Shikikan is you, right? So Shikikan is like right. So Shikikan is like I'm calling him Shikikan as if it's a name. It's not a name. It's a title. He's the commander. That's all. It's not even a rank. I remember arguing about that before. It's like he's not the ground forces type commander rank, nor is he the naval forces commander rank. He's just the commander of a base. He's just in charge of a base. He's Shikikan. Anyway, they're PMC, so they're not really military. That's also part of it. Anyway, where was I? So just let me call him Shikigan, I guess. Like, I guess I could call him I can call her Jantian, I guess, because canonically she is the Shikikan. But let's not even go there right now. So like I was going to use it as a jumping off point, and like I keep telling people, other people I talk to Girls from Nine with, like in those groups, right? It's like a lot of people are missing the story, and like I remember that this is something that I had to argue with my original circle of friends that I started Girls from Nine with, because they didn't see things like they saw the same details, and they argued that it was different conclusions. But basically now I've been proven right. Basically now that the story's progressed this far, but at the same time it's like I kind of get what they were saying too. But like we would argue about this stuff, and like one of the most central parts of the story actually is like, when you understand the theme of Girls from Nine is exactly like it should be at chapter 6. I'm going to basically spoil chapter 6 for the people who've been following my playthrough of the new account, right? But basically by chapter 6, what happens is you finally get to meet Kruger, right? Shikikan and Kruger get to talk, and that's really important. And what happens is that Kruger explains why he hires dolls. And then basically, like, Kruger explains to you, like, Kruger used to be an actual military commander. And he used to have people serving under him. And then those people died. And, like, Kruger basically never really let go of the pain of loss. And that's a huge part of the story, right? And he said, like, that's why I don't hire human soldiers. I hire dolls only. Like, I have an all-doll force. I'm one of the few PMCs to have tried it. Sangvis Ferry being the other one. But like the entire point is like I know that they're not quite as efficient without human oversight. I get it. Like even the military doesn't have all doll forces. They have human commanders and human sub leaders and so on commanding smaller doll forces that they don't really allow to do independent missions. They don't trust the AI of IOP's dolls either, or they don't trust it as much as you do apparently. And that's a thing. So like Kruger says, like don't get hung up on the dolls, because like I hired them specifically so you don't feel bad if they die. Because, and this, he's not talking about the AR team in this case, because the AR team is the exception. Like he says, look, it's fine if the dolls die. Just get over it, okay? The dolls are going to die. We're going to have the memory backups. We'll just put them in new bodies, and it's totally cool. But then like the unspoken thing that the Shikikan is supposed to say back to Kruger, and the Kruger kind of reacts to it later, because he says that he disagrees with you later as well. It's like the unspoken thing that Shikikan says is like, I can't just do that. Like the same way that human soldiers served under you, these dolls serve under me. And this is the entire theme of Girls from Nine from the Shikikan's point of view, as in the Shikikan part of the story, the not M4 part of the story. Like, and this is the central theme of everything that happens to Shikikan from before then to afterwards, and all the way. It pays off in Dual Randomness. Holy shit! By the way, I just have to say, I am not far in Dual Randomness. You want to see my Dual Randomness fucking progress? Like, okay. So, like, when I saw this, like, I was technically spoiled, but, like, I knew it was coming. Like, again, because I have my finger on the pulse on this thing. I know, like, what the theme is. See, this is as far as I got. I finished Departure Time. That's it. I haven't done Polynosis yet, okay? Crap, I keep clicking the wrong thing. Here, right? I've done Departure Time. That's it. I finished Departure Time, 5/5. I've been doing the Departure Time Infinite map, because I've been busy in real life. That's a thing. And that's the thing also, is like I'm afraid I might not stream as much often, because Like, I'm starting some new stuff. Side job shit. Anyway, right? I haven't finished these ones yet either. I've done this one, but I haven't done 3. And I think there's like a 4 I haven't unlocked. I'm not sure. Anyway, yeah, 3 I haven't done yet. Oh, wait, 4? Huh? Why are these marked? Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't done this. I haven't watched this. I haven't even started Polynosis. Anyway, but like the point is, right? And this is the central thing in Girls Online. Like, I want everyone to be aware of it as much as possible. Like, especially for you people who fucking skip the story. Like, at least like be aware. Like, what the fuck is going on? And that's also why I think Jantian, well, the Jantian in the manga, not the Jantian in the anime. I think they're taking the anime Jantian into weird places. Because, like, the Jantian in the manga, like, follows this storyline as well, right? The entire point of, like, the Girls Frontline story, from the Shikikan's point of view, not the M4 story, which is technically the more main story, but the Shikikan story, you know, intersects with the M4 story as well. The Shikikan story is like this. Shikikan is the protege of Kruger, and Kruger was a guy who was, like, this legendary soldier and legendary commander who gave up his regular soldiery stuff because, like, he lost too many of his friends. Like, he was a great commander who had these subordinates who would trust him to the end. They would do whatever the hell he would say because they knew he had their best interest at heart, and they knew that he would complete the mission the best way possible, as much as possible. But, like, they died, and, like, Kruger was like, I can't deal with this anymore, so he quit the military. At some point afterwards, some backers, some really shady backers, now that we know about Rossertrism, right? They were like, hey, like, we want you to start up a PMC with us. You will provide the expertise. You will provide the leadership. And we'll give you the money and the resources and stuff. And it's like, I don't know, man. They sold him on this idea of buying dolls from IOP. And I was like, okay, fine. This is okay for me. So he hires commanders like you. So, like, you're one of his proteges. And, like, because you're doing so well during the SO9 missions, that is rescuing the AR team all the way up to I think the operation against Destroyer, and that's when your prospects raise up, right? Because you did so well up to that point, and that's why you get to meet with Kruger in chapter 6. So, and that's the thing, right? So Kruger gives you his advice, right? It's like, okay, let go of the whole thing. Like, the dolls, they're just dolls, and then you say, no, that's not the point. The thing is, like, you don't see far ahead into this loop as I have. Like, if I'm like you, then you should, like, sympathize with me. You should empathize with what I'm going through. Because you may only see them as dolls, but I see them as my subordinates. And it doesn't matter, and this is the important thing, it doesn't matter if they are human or doll. Right? That's another theme of Girls Front 9. Is that, like dolls are very human-like in ways that nobody ever expected them to be. And then humans are very doll-like in certain ways that nobody expected them to be. And there are things that straddle the line, like Dandelion and the Naitos. And M4, technically. And, like, here's the thing, right? And this is the main thing I wanna talk about, right? It's like, Shikikan's arc is about this. It's like him discovering and building on the idea of what Kruger had discovered as well. Like, the iron bound fucking bonds between the commander, the superior, and the subordinate. Because, like, and this is a canon thing, I think they explained it in Deep Dive, is that most Griffin commanders are not very kind to their dolls. Like, they explained it as, like, you fail the mission, you die, you wake up, and then the first thing you see when you wake up is you see, like, your commander shouting in your face, saying, hey, why did you fail the mission? Why didn't you do better? And then they send you through remedial training. Right? And, like, that's what the average Griffin commander is like. But, like, the way that you treat your dolls, quote-unquote, kindly, is different. And that's not really even the thing about the Shikikan. It's like, I don't think that Shikikan is canonically, like, particularly kind to the dolls. Because, like, Shikikan is also worried about, like, you know, babying the dolls too much. But one of the things is that the Shikikan treats the dolls the best way as they are, and it's one of those things, right? So, right, like Shikikan is particularly accepting of the things that dolls say about themselves. Like, when like you know how edgy AR-15 is when she said, I think that was in chapter 4. No, 4E. I think we saw that in the stream. It was like, he said, like, dolls don't fear death. They don't fear death. They fear failure. You know, that's the thing that they get punished for. That's the thing that, you know, they're technically in some ways programmed for victory. So it's like, that's what they strive for. That's what they live for. Um, so and that's technically what Shikikan is technically doing with his dolls, is that in bonding with them, it's not like he's becoming their friend. It's that he's best becoming their best commander, knowing how to use them best, getting to know their little idiosyncrasies so that they can be used properly. That's what the underlying theme of all the side stories of the dolls are. Like even chapter 1N, which I played here, where like MP5 just meets her other night team members, and then like we get to find out like P7 is a prankster, or that Wa is a tsundere. So like the entire point of Shikikan knowing about these things is like, so he knows how to best direct them. That's the part of the story. That's something that the manga does really well. Like Jantion completes a mission against an enemy commander in a simulated battle, because she like finds out in like the first 15 minutes of meeting PPK for the first time that PPK is a good dancer, and she's like, oh shucks, she's good at evasion, make her take point. And like that was the whole thing. Was it PPK or was it FNP9? Or it was a handgun. Like she put a handgun take and had her take point, and it was like she found like in the first 15 minutes of talking to that handgun doll that like, oh, she used to be a dancer, and it was like, oh shit, you might do well in evasion. Like that's the sort of thing that Shikikan is supposed to be. And like Shikikan basically is trying to become that super good commander. And like that lines up entirely with the gameplay, because like we're trying to be the super good commander. We're trying to make our dolls do their best. We care about their dolls. Well, of course we play favorites, but like one of the things we care about is things like stat lines and performance, and getting to do stuff. And like we make sure that they don't fail often. That's why like, the affection system has ups and downs. And like if you do a lot of successful battles, the affection goes up. But if they die in battle, the affection can go down, and so on. Like the whole system is set up in this way that Shikikan is always trying to be the best commander he can be, so he can lead the dolls better. Not because he cares about them as people or something. That's the thing, is that of all the people, Shikikan is the one person who seems to understand the dolls best. And that's also because Shikikan is the one person who's like most experienced in dealing with dolls over most other people. That's the thing. Right? So where was I? Let's do some 8N. I just have some stuff to kind of level slowly. Actually do a lot of my daily quest map completes, as in not corpse drag, as in map completes with a Sangvis fairy team at this point now actually. So like when I wanna train dolls, the one place I'm gonna do it is 81N, because it's a cancel. Like, this is just, I could just use combat reports. I've got a bunch of combat reports to up these guys, but like there are other reasons to 81N anyway, and I wanna get some XP the old-fashioned way as well. So anyway, so this is how you do a corpse drag. I actually have my two ZAS M21 X1s slightly damaged. See, 117 hit points out of 121, 118 out of 121. These guys are always slightly damaged and never repaired, right? And I do this entirely so that if I sort by damage taken, ZAS M21 always shows up on top. That's how I do things. And then I have a command fairy for that. Also helps ZAS hit the damage minimum, I think. I'm not sure. I don't remember if I had to. And then everyone is in this L shape, and ZAS has to be on top. That's your standard 8-1N drag right there. So Team 1 has the full ZAS. Come on, don't lag now. Anyway, so where was I? Right. So the core theme of Girls Front 9 is that it's like dollar human. The commander must care about the subordinates. Like that's the important thing. It's like if M4A1 story is like trying to understand herself and what it means to be, I guess, human actually, even if she's not human, like what it means to be that kind of special existence that she has, and she's trying to figure out what that even is. Right? Okay, so I've got an M21 here with ammo and rations, and this one doesn't have any. And there you go, start the mission. So I'm just going to make sure that this is on so I can use the command fairies thing. So first thing to do, resupply the ZAS. Retreat. She retreats on a heliport, so she still has her ammo rations intact. And then we'll do this. 5 fights. Okay. So anyway, right? And that's the thing, is that like that's that's the commander's whole story. Is that like he discovers the bonds between superior and subordinate, and he uses them best, and he basically becomes the next Kruger. Only that his subordinates are dolls, and that actually super pays off in Polarized Light. Oh my god, Polarized Light was it really blew me away on like how much like payoffs were happening. Like the dolls were marching to their death, and they were doing it happily because they trusted Shikikan so much, right? Like the dolls had been there who had been there since the beginning, and the dolls who were new, who kind of got the vibe of things. It's like when you saw like Team Thompson, Team Germany, or whatever you call them, the car team, like right, set up like these kind of like foxholes near the front line on the ranking map, and then letting the tanks pass over them, and then they do suicide runs against the enemy. And then later in the storyline, when Shikikan like calls in the Vimpel airstrike, and then he tells them to strike an area where his dolls are exactly on, and then like the Vimpel team is like, "Sir, that's danger close. Are you sure you want to hit your own guys?" And it's like, "No, it's fine. It's more important to hit the enemy exactly at this point. They will understand." And like he was relying on Dandelion to have all their backups ready and stuff. Meanwhile, like he knew like if he failed the overall mission, and then Dandelion's safety was compromised, then none of the backups would happen. So he was sacrificing everyone else over like the more important units, and he was just basically just biting his lip as he was like letting his dolls die, knowing like how much that sucks on an emotional scale, but he had to do it. And the fact that he volunteered for a mission to like Polarized Light was so good about this whole thing, where the commander had grown up to the point at which like he was working his damnedest, right, to get his dolls out to safety, even if it meant sacrificing their dolls. And like the dolls were complying on a level like they were so motivated to do it. Like their affection level, their motivation level was so high. Like there were people who were like volunteering to be the sacrificial lambs and so on. And like they trusted each other on such a level that's what made Polarized Light so good from the commander's point of view. And it pays off here in Dual Randomness, because it's like when you finally meet Kruger again, and then Kruger like admits that like you've grown and you've really become into your own and so on. And that's what I saw in the, because that's as far as I got in the Polarized Light story. So back to this, and this is one of those things that really gets me, because like when I saw this, like let's just remove the top part here. When I saw this, and I said like, from what I understood is basically that Kruger basically gave you a way to live safely. Like he gave you a pass to the green zone, which means like you could just live in one of those protected cities instead of like, you know, out here in the boonies where we order you to command dolls and stuff. Like if you wanted to, you could just quit this military life. You could live safely in the safe zone if you wanted to. And then like you say, "No, I'm not going to do that." And then the Kalina was given the same offer, and then like the commander says, you know, I don't think so. I'm gonna go back into danger. And then Kalina says, "Well, I'll go with you." And what this all means is like a lot of people are thinking this because Kalina has the hots for the commander. It's like, no, that's the wrong read. One of the things here is that it actually surprised me when I was reading this. It was like Kalina had actually grown to the part that where she was as loyal to you as the other dolls were. And again, blurring that line of doll or human, right? Like Kalina is so loyal to you now. Like she will follow you to into danger. Partly because like, you have dragged her in and out of danger so often and so much. Like she probably, at this point, it's like, you know, people who bond over traumatic situations. Like Kalina probably doesn't even feel safe anymore in the world without you at this point. It's like she trusts you so much as her commander that you know, that she wants to be with you. Like she feels like that's going to be the best place to be, where her interests are best served, where she will best survive, is with you. And that's crazy. And again, she's not a doll. Like she's human. Like if you shoot her, she'll die. And that's freaking crazy to think that Kalina had actually, you know, bonded with you on this level. Is like she will follow you into danger, because I'm sure Kalina knows, right? Like even if I don't know the entire context of this thing, like Kalina should know what the hell's going on with you guys see that? So just swap that. Wait, let me get this out of the way. Like I think that's enough. Like that part there, I feel like it's just another payoff. I think the payoff is like you've earned Kalina's trust to the point at which she'll follow you into danger. It's like, wow, she's as obedient to you as any of your dolls, and it's like she's human. And it's like, again, it's this theme again of like, it doesn't matter if you're doll or human, the bond between the superior and the subordinate can become as strong as iron. It's crazy. Like, and I really like that part, right? I really like that. I like the idea that you like from this point on, like Kalina, all the shit that Kalina has done with and for you. Like there was a point, I think in Polarized Light or possibly in Shattered Connection, where the commander could not be contacted, so Kalina had to conduct the base defense like on her own. And like she had to play commander for a while, and then the best she could do was basically pull up your old strategies from the records and then like emulate some of them. And it's like, holy crap. like she's had to fight for her life as much as you've had to. And like all the other stuff that she's had to do with you while you were doing the secret state sex stuff when you were in Belgrade and stuff during Isomer. And well, the way that she volunteered for the mission to rescue you in Continuum Turbulence's ranking. It was like, it's crazy. Was it Continuum Turbulence? I think it was Continuum Turbulence. Yeah, I think it was Continuum Turbulence. Anyway, right? And like that was the first time we saw like Kalina in tack gear and a gun. Right? It's like the time that you spent on that war train, and then Kalina was like in there as well. And then like I don't remember what she was doing. I think was she no, she wasn't manning the guns. She was just manning she was just doing her logistic stuff there. But it's like Kalina has been through everything with you at this point. It's like you are her commander at this point. She trusts you with her life many times over now. It's crazy. I love it. And I think that's basically what Dual Randoms is gonna be about from the commander's point of view, is that like he's told that Kruger is finally safe and he's being given an out to not do all this dangerous work and like go back to being just an SO9 Griffin commander, whatever. But like he's way too into this intrigue now, way too into whatever Angelia and Javier and Persica are into, that like he's going to give up, you know, the safety that he might have earned, go back into danger even against what Kruger advises. Like at this point, like the way that you meet Kruger is like saying, it's Kruger admitting that you've become a great commander. It's like saying you're finally at his level, and then like you stepping into danger from this point on is going to put you at a level higher than Kruger. And it's kind of like this, you know, this master and disciple thing. You're finally going to surpass the master, or possibly if you do well, right? And that's like Dual Randomness having all these kind of like payoffs for the commander as it starts. It's like it's a real milestone for you, right? It's like a thank you for all your hard work getting through like the last 3 events or so. It's freaking amazing, honestly. It's really nice, and that's why I don't like it that the people like, you know, they don't pay attention to the Girls Frontline story and then make up this dumb shit. It's like, yeah, I kind of get it. I kind of get the meminess of it, like making jokes. It's like, yeah, I laugh too, but at the same time, it's like, I really hope that's not the entirety of your understanding of the story. And that's, in many ways, that's Girls Frontline's fault too, as a game, because it's not very good at handling, like, telling its story to you, just in this basic mechanical terms. Like, remember, like, the chapters. The basic chapters is that they always tell your story right before you get into a combat mission. Because you click the mission, and it's supposed to be the combat mission, but you get the story first. And that's really annoying. No, it's not annoying during the chapters, because the chapters are relatively quick. But when, like, the people who have only been playing the last year or so would never have experienced this. But during, like, Arctic Warfare, and I think even Deep Dive, the story segments were part of the chapters. If you wanted to do, like, a combat mission, you had to play through the story segment first, and then you see everything before you can get to the combat. And like, that sucked, and it super sucked. Like, if you failed the mission and you wanted to just get back, and it's like, oh, you had to go through the story again. Like, of course there's a skip, but like, again, the fact that it has to start off with all that crap that you don't want to see, it gets in your way, and it kind of trains your mind to want to avoid it. So it's a good thing now that they put the story segments separately, and that's one of the great QOL things they ever did in Girls Front 9. But at the same time, it's like, no. One, it's still required that you hit the story once at least, and then hit the skip button as you always will. And then two, like, they put a reward on it, so you want to do the story anyway, even if you don't care. So it's like, and this is the big problem of Girls Online. Let's put it this way. There's like at least one channel on YouTube, I think it was like Catmark or something. Catmark MC or something. One of those. Like, who basically uploads all of the stories of the events and stuff. And then you can just watch it on the YouTube video and just you know, play back the story from there. So anyone who's even slightly interested in the story is like, they'll just hit skip story during the game. And then they'll go back, and like if they're interested in seeing the story, they just go back to the YouTube video. And like I'm technically guilty of that too, because things have happened like on this emulator that where it's crashed in the middle of doing an event or something. And it's like, oh, I only got through part of the story, and it's like I don't wanna start the whole thing over and then just hit click next just to get back to where I saw. It's like I'll just load up YouTube and go find the video. You know, like this is one of those things that where mechanically the storytelling of Girls Online is terrible. You cannot beat a YouTube video recording of the fucking story. Why even bother trying? Why not just release the fucking videos on YouTube directly if you can't make it good within the game? Right? The gameplay connection is good. The gameplay connection is super good. Because in the sense, like because I don't skip the story, I watch the story as I play the missions. And it means that I'm very slow at events, like I am right now. But it also means like I'm always making sure I'm taking in the story. So like when I'm doing the chapter, it's like I know why I have this objective to complete. Like in my mind, I'm already imagining like why it's important, so on. It helps me immerse myself in the story. Right? But like at the same time, it's not good. It creates all like these bad UX experiences for people that they would just prefer to watch the YouTube video of the compilation. And it's like you have to be able to beat that. You have to be able to, you know, use interactivity to your benefit. I think that's one of those things that's really important for Girls Online. And they don't do it. And in a sense, it's like, yeah, it's too much innovation technically for a gacha game to do that. Because I can't think of a single gacha that's done it really well. Honestly. And like, technically some gachas have done it better just because they have shorter stories. But that's about it. Right? There has to be like a way to like either make it more loose, in which like you don't have to watch the story at all if you don't want to, or just, you know, tighten it in a way it's like it's good to see the story as you play. Like there's right now that's the problem, I think. Like either one or the other. One is that the ideal method, but it's gonna be more difficult, and I don't even know if it's possible, is they should find a way to make the story more interactive in a sense, like part of the gameplay. Like I watch a story and I play the chapter, and it's like, oh, like I understand why I'm doing this, but that's as far as it goes. But it's not like, you know, it's not like I can do better on the map just because I pay attention to the story or anything. Or worse, like if you punish someone for not paying attention, I think that's a bad idea. But like there should be like a bit of more interactivity, and like putting story bits in the middle of the mission as you're doing the combat sucks also. Like when you see it like you step on a certain node and it triggers a dialogue. I actually find that super annoying. I don't think people actually like that either. There has to be a way though. There has to be a way to kind of like put the story together in a way that, you know, I don't know, some sort of interactivity. Like for example, I don't know how you would do it. I don't know how you would I can't imagine how it might be. So I don't know, because like I don't want to punish the player for not paying attention, because like some people like to play this game without paying attention to the story, and that's totally fine, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, like there should be a way to tie the story closer to the game and the game closer to the story. And the other thing also is that, like, again, like make it painless. The other thing is that to make it so convenient that your best option isn't the YouTube video, right? Like the event playback, the in-game event playback stuff is like, it's fine, but certainly there must be like better stuff to do there, right? There has to be a better way. I don't know. Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like if they added more playback options, skip forward to story, skip back in story, and so on, or like chaptering or sectioning up the story bits or something. I don't know. Actually, yeah, maybe that's how you do it both, interactivity and like what if we chaptered up and sectioned up the story, and then like playing through the map unlocks the next section of the story or something, or I don't know. And then like it was opt-in or something, I don't know. But yeah, that's the thing. Like again, I just lament the fact that lots of people don't pay attention to the story. But again, also it's like that's not their fault in many ways. But at the same time, it does make it annoying to discuss this thing because it's like, you guys don't pay attention to the story. God damn it! It's like in some ways, I feel like some of these people who are paying attention don't have the right to complain about things that are just pure story. Like, oh, I didn't like the anime. They didn't like it. Didn't do it the way I thought it would be. It's like, you don't pay attention to the story. You don't get to say that. At the same time, it's like, I can't make you pay attention to the story. I don't think it's good for the game to make itself more frustrating along those lines. Like, to punish you for not paying attention or something. Like, again, like, I wish there was a way to make the storytelling part both more painless, but at the same time, also more tied to the game, and to interest people more from the, like, tying it from the gameplay, from the people who enjoy the gameplay. I don't know. It feels like I'm wanting too much. I'm wishing for too much at that point, though. I don't know. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I feel bad that, like, you know, like the stuff I was talking about, like the stuff like where the commander's actually going through this arc. Shikikan is actually going through this arc that started all the way back in chapter 6. And now we are like chapter 13.7 or something. Now that we're here at the thing. Or 13.5, I'm not sure. I don't know, I haven't even done chapter 13 yet. Like, y'all saw me do chapter 13.1. I haven't gotten any further since. I've been busy with other stuff. Anyway, right? Ah, God. So, yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I have any much else. This is just me ranting anyway. It's always been me ranting. Like, I didn't want to do this particularly seriously. So, I know this is a stream, but basically I just wanted to record this just for the sake of recording something. You know, and streaming is just the most... It's just the most convenient way of doing things. Okay? So, yeah, that's it. I'm done. Okay? I'm just gonna... ending stream.